How exactly does a PUA control a person? What kind of magic does he have? So that a person is obviously very painful, but still do not want to get rid of the relationship. We will tell you the secret. And how to recognize and get rid of PUA. What about the ex-wife of the PUA? Will set up a very perfect image in front of you. To establish contact with you. He will use every means to make you curious about him. Recognize and appreciate. To make you think he's the right guy. That's when you enter the first step of the trap. That's when the real manipulation begins. In the psychology of manipulation, there are 5 steps in manipulation: positive reinforcement, negative intermittent reinforcement, punishment and traumatic one-time attempts to learn. The manipulator will use these 5 steps. They use these 5 steps to suppress you based on your personality, to create self-doubt, loss of self-awareness. So-called positive reinforcement is to reward you with compliments and rewards, make you willing to be manipulated. Negative reinforcement will use cold violence against you, complaining and blaming. You'll choose to compromise to get rid of these negative feelings. In order to get rid of these negative emotions, intermittent reinforcement is the most common method used by PUAs, is to constantly reward and devalue you through positive and negative reinforcement, rewarding and devaluing you, to make your emotions go up and down dramatically. You'll be more excited about his rewards and fear his suppression of you, which will cause you to care more about his feelings. You want his approval more. The punishments are much simpler and more brutal, which means that if you don't comply, it will hurt you. Traumatic one-time attempts to learn is to hurt you with a single, very powerful blow, to make you permanently fearful, and casts a shadow over your psyche. The core purpose of being overweight is to make you lose your self-awareness and negate your self-worth. The overweight person will be put down by you, that you put down, like saying you've gained a lot of weight lately. You've gained a lot of weight lately. Suddenly, they get mad at you about something, suddenly lose their temper with you, accusing you of being wrong. Ultimately, while demeaning and suppressing, the manipulator establishes his own authority, makes you doubt yourself, thinking it's really your problem. That's when you fall into the manipulator's vortex. You think you're always wrong. You can't do anything right. You begin to deny your own self-worth. And the manipulator will isolate you during this time. They'll do everything they can to minimize your social interaction, cutting you off from your friends, so you don't have an outlet for your emotions. You become more dependent on the manipulator. This is one of the most common methods used in pyramid schemes. The manipulator will tell you that everything he does is for your own good. And you're like this. Can you not be so sensitive? You're putting me under a lot of pressure and so on. Things like that make you feel guilty and guilty, so that you'll obey him. So you'll fall into it step by step. You can't get out of it. You question everything about yourself. You'll think you're nothing, because no one but the manipulator. You'll never be liked by anyone but the manipulator. You'll look forward to the manipulator's approval. You're in a vicious cycle, and you're stuck in it. So who's more likely to be manipulated? Manipulated people tend to lack self-awareness. They're very concerned about what others think of them. Have a pleasing personality disorder. Pleasing personalities are not confident or assertive. Also can't say no. So how do you get rid of a PUA? First, you need to have a clear sense of self. Believe in yourself. Don't question yourself. Secondly, don't isolate yourself. Communicate more with friends. Don't cut off your emotional outlet. And learn to say no when the manipulator manipulates you. In fact, he is also a manipulator. Every time you compromise and give is a positive reward for him. If you start to refuse, then the manipulator will feel a strong sense of frustration, and he'll expect to be rewarded by you. But you don't have to change a manipulator, even if you choose to disengage. PUA is not only in the relationship between a man and a woman, it can also be found in your leadership, parents and friends, and many other places. In fact, many times, you will be unconsciously, or deep or shallow by someone to manipulate, or you are manipulating others. But it is crucial, you have to have an independent personality, to believe in yourself, that you can live without anyone.